Tell us a little bit about what's the best thing for you being involved as a lived experience advisor.
For me, it's to be able to help people, help others that are going through the process or similar things that Peter and I went through, to make it easier for others. It was such a hard time. I was so young. Pete was so young. He was in a coma for so long. To speak up for others and to show others, 'cause I've got the skills. I can speak up. I'm loud, and I'll get out there. And I've learnt that. So I want others to be able to do that. I want to help others to do that. It's very daunting becoming an advocate and going up against systems that I didn't even know anything of. I had no understanding of. And because I can at this stage in my life. I've got time.
That's awesome. And like Kim said before, you're also a lived experience advisor on other projects as well. Tell us about some of the things you're quite proud of around that.
I'm really proud of, I'm on the rail, rehabilitation, ageing and independent living for Monash University. I'm on the external committee, and I'm an advisor on that. And that's wonderful. I've been on it for 4 years now, and I love it. The first meeting I went to, I cried because all the things that they were doing was going to add to people with disabilities' lives, and for all the ones who cared for them, they were going to help us do it better. You know, it was great. I've also been involved in making a resource for people ageing well with a traumatic brain injury, and I've loved that because I've been involved right from the start, all the way through. I've gone to all the meetings. Everything I've said, I've seen in print. It's just amazing to have that out there. I wish that was out there when Pete had his head injury. I didn't even know what a head injury was at the beginning. And to have all that information that you could just go and get and look at and work through is amazing. And I've been heard all the way through that.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And being an investigator and a lived experience advisor on the Workers' Voice, what are some of the specific things that researchers or organisations need to be aware of when we're getting people involved in these types of roles?
This is just for me.
From your perspective.
Yeah. I know that I doubt myself, and I've never been really sure. We've discussed this time and time. I've never been really sure of what I can offer. We may feel that we cannot speak up in front of, or we don't want to speak up in front of all the academic skills that are in the room. Like, I just sit back and think, you know, I've been given documents and I've come back to Elizabeth and said, am I checking typos as well? I can't tell you guys. Anyway, I didn't think I could, but I can, because I've got these skills that I don't always recognise. But I think other people are like that too. We second guess our own worth. And emotionally it can be really hard, and I will get upset. It's really hard to talk about Pete and what's happened, and so yeah, you have to be really aware of that. And plus, as you can see, this is totally out of my comfort zone. I'm here, but
she's doing a fantastic job. And so what can we do as researchers to help support you in being out of your comfort zone?
The do's and don'ts of working with lived experience people. Be very clear of what's being asked for in the role, like explain it, timelines with the work. I don't think at the beginning I realised that the workers' study was going to be 4.5 years, but I kept going back to Alex and we worked it all out. Checking in with the lived experience while that person, whilst they're doing their work. You know, sometimes if I'm out there floundering, I get a bit scared, but yeah, it's good to check in and make sure that I'm on the right track. Don't assume that I know how to use, or that we know how to use technology like Zoom or Teams or chat. I learned how to work Teams on the fly one day at a meeting. And on our first face-to-face meeting, Elizabeth, I didn't know. I apologise to Elizabeth for not knowing how to do track changes. And Elizabeth showed me before I left that day, and I used it in our next piece of work. It was fine. Don't use jargon and acronyms. without explaining what it means. At times commenting on documents. I have my iPad open as well, and I'm looking up things. And one day I remember saying, I looked up IME, and of course that's the independent medical exam, but I didn't know that. But Peter went for so many of those in the early years. I should have known that one. Don't engage with lived experience person as a token gesture. It's, we know. Don't talk over or interrupt us. I've seen that done, and then it made me sit back. I didn't want to join in. I just sat back and thought, well, it's not going to happen to me. Meet us face-to-face where possible. For example, for me to be comfortable with today, Elizabeth and I have had 2 meetings face-to-face, so thank you. Do create trust and do believe us. Do be aware of the emotional impact of lived experience. Recounting stories and memories. With some of the work I've been involved in, someone has rung me back to check I'm all right or to debrief. Include us in all conversations when we're in the room. Respect us as a person and our time. We're giving our time. I've never asked for money, but I'm giving my time to try and help. Have respectful conversations. I'm full of do's and don'ts, aren't I?
This is great. These are great. I'm writing them down because I'm going to reinforce them for everybody who's listening. This is fantastic.
In a recent Zoom, the other lived experience raised a hand, but it wasn't noticed. And the Pro-Vice-Chancellor was in that Zoom, and he did notice, and he stopped his comment and went back to her. I thought that was fantastic that he would do that. We were noticed. Be recognised in the group. In one of the committees that I'm on, if there's someone new in the room, we all introduce ourselves. I'm not very good at the blurb thing. I forget half the things, but it's really good. We learn a little bit about each other, and sometimes you get into Zooms and there's people in that Zoom that don't know you, or even Grainne. My name looks different on the screen than how you pronounce it, and it's not straight away that a treating professional could be. Oh, I know Grainne. I knew Peter Cruickshank. Ask them for their input. I remember the first Zoom I ever went on, I was asked to summarise the meeting. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do that. But I actually managed to do it. It was fine. I'm the sort of person that goes away and thinks and then comes back by email. If I can't think on the spot, and all of my roles have been fine with that. I've asked at the beginning and they've all said that's fine, and it's worked.